Senator Barrow Jibrin from Kano State, Northwest, that is. Also, former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, is also from the Northwest. Senator Ojus Okalu, Abia State, Southeast. Senator Osita Isunazo, Imo State, Southeast as well. Senator Godswill Akpabio from Akwa Ibom State, representing the South, and Senator Sani Musa of Niger State, North Central. Now, the confusion has always been who it'll go to, whether it's the South or the North, or rather the Southeast. Now, in this case, these prominent names that have been mentioned are those who have indicated interest to run for the position. However, there are those who think, look, let it the Northwest rather should get the position. Before now, it seemed like the South was being tipped for the position. However, just yesterday after the meeting, Senator Godswill Akpabio says, look, his credentials and he makes him most qualified, or more qualified for the position, considering the fact that he has been in the Senate, he's been governor, two-time governor, he's been in the Senate, he's been a minister himself, and that he's very, very qualified to seek the position. And there are indications from the party as well that the seat may be ceded to the South. If that happens, who would it be? Who would it be to merge leadership, to merge President of the Senate in the House of Assembly, or the House of Representatives as well? There are some names that have come out who have been mentioned, the likes of Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase, who is from Plateau State, is North Central, has been the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Honorable Mukhtar Betara, Borno State, Northeast, that is. Honorable Abbas Tajuddin is from Kaduna State, Northwest again. Honorable Sada Soli from Katsina State is also in the from the Northwest. And Honorable Aminu Jaji from Zamfara State, Northwest again. What would it be for the House of Representatives? Now, looking at the National Assembly, would we have another, National Assembly, the Ninth Assembly, that has been described as a rubber stamp? In fact, they themselves came out to say, the President of the Senate at the time in 2019 had come out to say, whatever it is that the President wants is what they're going to do. And that's got them to, what's the word now? That got them the reputation of a rubber stamp assembly. However, they've argued to say they're not entirely a rubber stamp assembly. Some of the most prominent bills that have been signed into law were signed into law under the Ninth Assembly. They gave instances of the longest bill that was in the National Assembly, the PIA, the PIB at the time, that had been in the National Assembly for almost 20 years. In their time, they got to sign that bill. The Electoral Act as well, amended and finally signed under their supervision. And also the legislative business in the 10th Assembly. What would it be? Would we have one that is going to be subservient, completely under the control of the executive, or would we have a legislative arm of government that is going to be up and doing and be, and take up their responsibility as should be of, checks and balances, providing checks and balances for the executive and even the judiciary, also, being a watchdog as well, playing a watchdog role as well to other arms of government? What would it be? What are your thoughts on this? I'd also, quickly, let's also talk about the fact that the presidential candidates of the Hope Democratic Party, HDP, in the 2019 elections, Chief Ambrose Owuru, filed a fresh suit in court, in the Court of Appeal in Abuja, against the May 29 inauguration of President-elect Bola Tinubu. Owuru, who participated in the 2019 presidential election on the platform of the Hope Democratic Party, is asking for an order prohibiting President Muhammadu Buhari, the Attorney General of the Federation, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from swearing in Tinubu as president on May 29. Owuru predicated his case against the swearing in of Tinubu or anyone else as successor of Buhari on the grounds that he was the constitutionally adjudged winner of the 2019 election and had not been served or has not served his tenure as required by law. Is it confusion? Now, somebody who contested in 2019 has come out to say, look, President Buhari usurped my tenure in 2019 because the case is still pending, hasn't been concluded in the Supreme Court. And well, if he's finished that tenure, then the next tenure, no one else should take the position but himself, or until the case is concluded in court. Leaves you wondering what stopped him from being, ensuring that the courts did not allow President Buhari to continue. Why now? What is happening? Is this just drama, or is it actually real? What would the court say in this regard? Join the conversation and let's get talking. 090-9705-4450 and 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Now, I'm talking of court issues. The Labour Party seems to be in a dilemma. There seems to be confusion in the Labour Party as well. We're seeing the factional chairman of the party being accused of, going to courts to ask the courts to withdraw the petition withdraw the petition of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party against Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. There seems to be also, the court in Abuja had stopped the chairman of the party, Julius Abure, from parading himself as governor, as chairman of the party. Meanwhile, there was also an order in the court from Delta State that allowed him to continue to be chairman. So there's a lot of confusion in that party. But then, if a member of the party, someone who claims to be the chairman of the party, goes to court as been alleged to ask the court to throw away the case against the candidates of the party, what does that say to you? Join on and let's get talking. I'll bring in the first caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Anato.
Good morning, Okichuku.
Thank you. You see, I'm still standing on my own issue that the federal government should please exercise patience and allow the court to declare the rightful winner of the 2023 election, February 26th. Because in any country that you cannot obey your court and you think that the country will move forward, it's not going to move forward. If this case is still in the court, they should allow the court to do the right thing. You see, Nigerians are waiting patiently for the court to decide who won the election. Because INEC declared Ahmed Tinubu the winner of the election, and they are telling the other candidate to go to court. So they are in the court now. So they should wait. Let the court decide who won the election. Thank you.
All right. Okay. But then what does the Electoral Act say? If the case is in court, does it stop anyone from being sworn in? It doesn't really stop anyone from being sworn in. The cases will go on. The person who has been declared winner takes office until the court says otherwise, and then the person steps down, hands over to the person who the courts have decided to make. We've seen that happen in case of governors and all. Well, that's the position of the law. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Prince Ehinacho.
Good morning, Comrade Haruna. Good to have you.
Yeah, good morning. This is Haruna. Yeah. Prince Ehinacho. This is not the first time we are conducting election, people are going to court. And it has not stopped the swearing in of whoever that won the election. Because this is a democracy. By constitution, the only body that have the right to declare somebody who have won election is INEC, which INEC have done that. So court is not, it's just a way to seek for redress. So if we can, we are going to wait for courts to declare whoever won the election, then it will not end, because this person that the court will turn down will go for appeal. You understand? And by constitution, the current president should not pass 29th of May in office. So who will continue the affairs? So people should think very well and respect the constitution being given to INEC, that they are the only body that have the right to declare a winner in election. And then when the court say otherwise, after the swearing in, then we can go by the court. That's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling. Now, speaking more to that, government, there can be vacuum in governance. Okay, the seat of the president or the number one seat in the nation cannot be vacant. And in the case where, well, there are situations that have been spelled out in the Constitution. In the case where the president or the vice president are not available, then the Senate president, steps in to hold office. But in this case, an election has been conducted. Somebody has been declared winner by the election management body of the country. That's the Independent National Electoral Commission. And INEC has said this is a person who is president-elect, has returned him winner, given a certificate of return. What the law states is that that person would be sworn in on May 29. And when that day comes, and after that day, if the courts decide that, he's not the rightful winner of the election, then he can hand that power over to the next man. But then you'll also know that, like Haruna mentioned, there would be appeals. It would go up to the Supreme Court, and that would mean that the person must have been in power for at least 8 months. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm very fine. What's your name, sir?
Mr. Henry calling from AYA.
Mr. Henry, go ahead. Let's hear you, please.
Yeah. Please, I want to ask this question. Does it mean that court cannot finish this court issue before inauguration? Huh?
No. It hasn't happened. There is a 180 day. The Electoral Act gives the courts 180 days. That's the Election Petition Tribunal, 180 days. And then when there's an appeal, there's another 60 days added to it. And as it is right now, the courts haven't even started hearing the petitions. So is there a possibility of the courts hearing the petitions within the next 30 days and wrapping up the case? I don't think so.
My brother, let me tell you one thing. One thing you must know in Nigeria is that Nigeria is there is one thing you can say they are doing right. This thing is very clear. What are we dragging here? Who wins the election? It's obvious that we have the evidence to prove. Prove if you win the election. Let's see it in the court. If the court can be able to see enough proof. Is it not? This thing you are talking 180 days, 60 days is too much. What's wrong with Nigeria? Why are we behaving like this? See, this court of 18, there are some cases that have been lined up, like the man that sued to court about what happened in 2015 or 2019. See, since then, what have they done? What have the court done? Actually, nothing. Because if they have done something, this man wouldn't have been raising eyebrow or saying that the inauguration of 2015 or 2019 is not. See, it's time that the court will sit up. Let them do the needful. The truth is not hidden anywhere. The truth is truth. Anybody that win an election, I don't care. But let the electoral process be transparent enough so that this country will move forward. Because if you are inaugurating somebody that people are feeling that he did not win, the people will be going with grudges. Things will not move forward. Let them do the needful. Let them call the person that win. Let them through the judiciary. Let them show us if the election is really transparent as they are claiming. Let's see it. Anybody that wins will go ahead. All of them are Nigerians. None of them is foreigners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. They're all Nigerians. That's the truth. But then what like what you're saying, a very big concern should be Nigerians' concern. So looking at the 10th Assembly, one of the things that maybe Nigerians need to push for the National Assembly is to amend the Electoral Act again to say, look, election matters should be concluded before inauguration. Let's not have a situation where one person has been announced winner, he takes office and he starts to do a good work, and then all of a sudden the court says, oh, he's not the one that has won the election, or, it sets the country back. Look at the case in Imo State, for instance. After a while, somebody else comes in, takes over.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is Ikechukwu Ojego.
Ikechukwu, good morning to you. Welcome. Let's hear you.
I think, brother, this issue of dragging, going to court, adjusting this and that, I think Nigerians, we are past this level. This is open something. It's not something that is hidden. Okay, you say you are the winner. Okay, look at the truth. Look at this one. Look at this one. Present it. Let everybody move on. So let them follow the constitution of this country. But if they say no because they have power, they are there, they are the head, they want to make the constitution of this country dormant, so be it. But let them bear it in mind. Let them have it in mind. They have started this thing, and it will not end in their hands. That is what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Now, look at it in places like Kenya here. Elections are held. There are disputes. It goes up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court makes a ruling, and the person who was sworn in, before he's sworn in, and the person is sworn in as president. We can have the same situation. What needs to be done? Let's say we shift the elections a little further, upwards, and say, okay, instead of elections holding in February, let's hold elections in maybe or 6 months before handover. That's if we want 6 months, adjudication. We can allow, or litigation, we can allow 6 months before election, before inauguration. We do an election, and then people can go to court and resolve the matters before inauguration. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Moses, I'm glad you're here.
I think you have spoken my mind, and that is most of the challenge we have in this country. Our constitution, is it a rigid constitution where I don't know what is going on? The constitution should be visited. Areas that needed to, it is human beings like us that sat down to draft out this constitution. But when we begin to enter into a system, when civilization has become out of the way, there are some issues that we begin to observe. Because I believe that when this constitution was inaugurated, I think the system of operating at that time, the events happening that is occurring this time, they're not seen. So to me, let that constitution be revisited, area that needs to be amended to fit in the current challenges that we are going to. Like what rightly you have said, how would there be an issue on the ground? And you now declare somebody winner, you now give him a certificate of return, and you still let that person be in position. African setting of leadership problems, where you hand over somebody and you will not like to come down. Sometimes in African way of setting, when people vote out, such as vote of no confidence, people lose interest in the government. You will never have the mind to say, I will resign, like the British leadership did, or some of the European countries that normally come up when there is a pass-on vote of no confidence. But yes, somebody will be there, just by everything going wrong, and you see there, you will not like to come down. So when you hand over power to such person, then let the matter go to court. Let us understand one thing. How can you topple a ruling government and say the judge will pass and say, yeah, you should come down because the election was not rightly carried out through investigation? Are you sure that person will come down from that position? Are you not creating war? So I am in support of that, your idea, that let this constitution be revisited. Before somebody can be given a certificate of return, let these issues, political issues that are on the ground, that have not settled, matter in the court, be settled because they have enough time to revisit and make sure that those things is being corrected. Look at what happened in Adamawa. I think it's a clear correction that we need to add to our constitution, that we need to, if somebody coming to declare, if it was not the investigation that went on. They could have stood and stand on that declaration. So to me, I am still in the opinion, in the answer with your idea that the Constitution should be revisited and some of the things should be corrected. So if there are issues in the court, let that issue be settled before the certificate of return be given to the person that won the election. Thank you, God bless.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling in. Now, looking at this whole situation where someone is, sworn into office, and then there's a court proceeding against that person, especially looking at the presidential level, for instance, where the president, whoever's been sworn in, has the power to appoint the Minister of Justice. The Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice, has also the power to appoint the CJN, all right, within the same time. And if that is looking at what happened in 2015 or so, where what happened with Justice Walter Onnoghen, this is a situation where someone can decide, I don't want all these people in. Now, the CJN would also appoint those who would, listen to sit on the appeal at the Supreme Court, right? So if there's an appeal, what happens at that point? If it could happen in Kenya and elections held on the 9th of August, and by the 5th of September, less than a month after the elections, the Supreme Court has already made its ruling and passed judgment and returned declared William Ruto winner of the elections. That's even when countries like the US began to congratulate William Ruto. Because as it is now, there are countries who are withholding their congratulatory message until whatever it is that's playing out in court plays out in court. Isn't it just I wouldn't say the word that's coming to me now, but I'll hear from you. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Nacho, my brother. Good morning.
Good morning, Sunday the Prince.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Nacho.
Sir.
How did Nigeria become the giant of Africa? Is it by population or by doing things right?
Well,
because how can a country like Kenya, before handing over, they are done with their electoral matter? Then in Nigeria, somebody will be in his seat while still dragging the election. And that is why some state election did not tally with the federal election, with the general election because of court case. I mean, before swearing one in, you would have done with the court cases, whoever that win. We shouldn't be going through, once it involves election, it should go directly to the Supreme Court. So that the window for that 3 months, they would have used it to rectify anything that concerns litigation and the rest. But be coming from the appeal court to electoral, federal government establishing electoral law that will take care of election cases. From there to appeal court, from appeal court, it takes a lot of time. And that is why many people will be in office, after maybe 2 or 3 years, the courts now nullify the election and the person takes over, truncating the window for handover. I mean, how do we come to become the giant of Africa? As long as there's a window for 3 months, that window should have been, everything about the case of election would have been managed under these 3 months. So that when the person is handing over, you know that everything that concerns litigation is over. Once this person has taken over, there's no way the case will see the light of the day, because then he has become the president, and everybody wants to dance to the tune of the president. Everybody wants to do the right thing because he's the president. You can easily, redeploy or put, or if possible, sack the judge himself and put his own person. So I don't know why we cannot get things done right. This is the only time in the history of Nigeria that I've seen that person that won the presidential seat. This is the first time in Nigeria I've seen a president winning with minority votes instead of majority votes. Because in the case of since 1999, the person that win the election come with majority votes.
Well,
even when you put
this
on
is
the
also
numbers,
the first time that we've had a 3 or even a 4-horse race during a presidential election. So
no. In 2003, there's 4-horse race Obasanjo was in the race. Ojukwu was in the race. Under Abga then, Buhari was in the race. And when Obasanjo won, he won with a landslide victory.
But you know that election was also adjudged to be one of the most corrupt elections ever held in this country. True or false?
That's what they told us, but at the end of the day, the winner was still declared.
Anyway.
You understand? Because the same thing, majority of us are still saying in this one, that the election was marred with a lot of flood and errors.
Sunday the Prince, thank you very much for calling in and sharing your thoughts. I think the network did you in. Now let's get on to talk some more in a bit. Keep it locked here on your radio experience. You can count on 6 months is a lot of time, 2 months is a lot of time, 3 months is a lot of time for court cases to be completed. Now there is a new law that says that whoever is the president would have to appoint the ministers and form a government and cabinet within 60 days. President Buhari signed that bill into law just about a month ago or so. If that's the case, why can't we also amend the Constitution, amend the Electoral Act, and all to say that election matters must be concluded before inauguration? We can also have that time set for it, so that all of these issues would be passed or would be a thing of the past. Now, I'm talking about this because I need you as Nigerians to understand that you have a role to play if these things must change. Civil society must come together to ensure that, look, these kinds of issues do not continue. We do not have to have confusion in the polity. Now we have several states that are having off-cycle elections because of court cases after elections. The conversation continues. Keep it here on your radio experience you can count on.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Only 100 naira, you enter. Everybody can beat. If you win your bid.
You get what you want buy, but you don't get money. Microwave, TV, I mean you want pay nepa bill. Download Yanga Beat from any online store. With 100 naira, found your wallet. Choose a plan for your Get Pass. Start spinning and winning. The player with the highest number wins the bid. Anything when you want buy, you can bid it and win it. Yanga Beat, Nigeria's online marketplace.
You can call us on 091 3000 2014. 091 3000 2014.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
They say go better, man spend 60 years for Lagos. Well, that's the situation in the country. We have been talking about, we started the conversation talking about, the leadership of the National Assembly, but somehow it seemed like you were more interested in talking about, the court cases in court and how no one should be sworn in because, we mentioned about the case by Chief Ambrose Owuru, who had sued the President, the Attorney General of the Federation, and INEC as first, second, and third respondents to his suits, stopping or urging the court to stop the inauguration of President-elect Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Now, from his submission in court or his petition, he had a pre-election matter in 2019, and according to him, if the case hasn't been concluded, the President Buhari had usurped his tenure of 4 years because he is the constitutionally adjudged winner of the 2019 election. That's confusion on its own, and so that has stirred the conversation towards talking about election matters and how we need to wrap them up before inauguration. Because we can have a situation where maybe just what if the courts finally, find someone to be winner of an election 4 or 8 months after, right? After another person had been sworn in, that person had made decisions that affects the country for 8 whole months. Now, if we're going to go by the new law, it would mean that the new law signed in by President Buhari to say within 60 days you would have assembled a government. It would mean that person has already assembled a government, appointed ministers, appointed even maybe a CJN, because according to the Constitution, Section 231 of the Constitution, the President appoints the CJN subject to recommendation of the National Judicial Council and confirmation of the National Assembly. If that happens, let's say a person is able to assemble a government, choose CJN, all of that, Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Minister of Petroleum, all of those offices, even appoints a new IGP, new service chiefs, as in full control of government. Would it be possible, really, really possible, to see someone else, sending packing from Aso Rock? Would it really be possible? However, let's also see what's going to happen in the courts. Okay, someone sent in a message here. Suleiman, Sanusi from Suleja, you say, good morning. You see, Badbele cannot change the guidelines. I mean, they laid down rules and regulations. The winner must be sworn in on the stipulated date. That does not stop the litigation going on in court. Sanusi, thank you very much for your message. Now, I'm going to bring in more of your thoughts and responses to this conversation. What you think, what you make of all of these issues. Recall that it was just a few years ago that, the certificates saga, disqualifying President Buhari on the grounds of his qualification was concluded. A pre-election matter. The courts are inundated with a lot of, cases. And the truth is, other matters that really are really important are set aside in the judiciary every time there's an election. So if criminals and terrorists are supposed to be tried, they're all left aside because the court is focusing on election matters for 8 months.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, this is Balogun speaking from Asuku.
I didn't get your name, sir.
I said this is Balogun speaking from Asuku.
Balogun, good to have you.
Yeah. The problem of this country is that we keep talking and nothing is being done. Well, we keep talking. I think Nigeria is just being a wasteful country. Understand? Judiciary needs to redeem their integrity. Understand? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Judiciary needs to redeem their integrity. These are separation of a chair of a government. The judiciary are on their own, National Assembly are on their own, and the executive are on their own also. But because of the judiciary are still so low, they've made themselves to be compromised by the executive. That is why the judiciary arm is being pocketed by the executive. Understand? If there is a law that can be made for judiciary to appoint their leader by themselves without confirmation of the president, by then the judiciary can look at the eyes of the president and do the needful without being fear of any favor. And then what I want to ask again is that is Bivas is it wasteful in this country? Because Bivas was introduced to correct the anomalies of the election fraud we have in an old system, the previous government. But the question is that is Bivas really functioning? Because if Bivas is really functioning, all these court cases wouldn't have been in place. And not any of these society groups be pressing so hard for INEC to release the presidential results so that everybody can view for public view. Nobody is comparing INEC. And is there any society group that can be organized to checkmate INEC so that after the presidential election or after the election, they can audit and investigate INEC activities so that any INEC chairman that is being appointed shouldn't do anyhow in that position, because we know that we will always be scrutinized by civil society, so that we will always do the right thing. Understand? So, and you know what it takes for a president to be elected, after appointing his a crew member and his a minister, and a court can just come and take him out of there, and the new president will start organizing his own crew, his own appointment again. The line that it takes for a president government to review the transition process, the document being submitted by the previous government for the new government to review. A whole lot of documents that will be reviewed. You know how long that one will take before another government. So all these things, Nigeria is just has been. I don't even know how to go about this government in Nigeria.
Balogun, Eagle Beta. Thank you
Look
very much.
Look at this very American man now. Something, Lutherman, something. Spending, FBI to release the drug cases of our president. You know the kind of, is a slap on Nigeria. The Nigeria president, the cases everywhere. I don't know how Nigeria is going to go about because you've been a laughing stock in this outside this country and everywhere.
Balogun, what can I say? It go better. That's what we say. We believe.
Telling FBI to release the drug case of a president-elect is a slap on Nigeria. I think the judiciary need to do everything in their power to make sure they do the right thing.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, earlier I was speaking about, the judiciary and all that happens. So when you have really pressing issues in court, so the people who may lose their property, who, contracts that may go bad, businesses that may really be lost, foreign investors that may not come in and, be confident enough to invest, because the judiciary is on what can be referred to as a break from every other matter. When election cases are in front of the judges, 8 whole months. Most of the other cases are treated like, they're not so serious because the judges are inundated. There are several cases, and also the judiciary needs to find a way to manage itself, okay, in such a way that people do not. There's certain matters that the court should not waste their time on. So, in America, for instance, majority of the cases do not go to trial. Many cases do not go to trial. They end up with a settlement. That's a way to avert all of these unnecessary waste of time in court. People end up just settling out of court. They set the settlements. What was it now? I think yesterday or 2 days ago, Fox News had to pay several millions on account of a case that, that should have naturally gone to trial. They settled. Yesterday as well, or so. I mean, several other cases in the United States would not go to court, so that the burden on the judiciary is lessened. Judges are not, don't have to worry so much about too many cases, and that they have to listen to in court every day. Some very, very trivial issues, and the court should not allow itself to become where anybody can everybody now tells you to go to court. Seems like a ridicule of the judicial, and this is an arm of government that is supposed to be independent. It's supposed to run just the way the executive runs. But now it seems like the judiciary is subservient to not just the executive, but also to the legislative arm of government. And it's a ridicule of our judicial system, if you ask me. For anybody to just do anything and say, "Oh, go to court," because they feel like the courts, after all, there's nothing you can get in court. We have more money, we have more power. Is that the way that the court should run? The court needs to really, really redeem its image. The judiciary needs to redeem its image. Throw out some of these frivolous cases, some of these cases that shouldn't be in court in any way. Throw them out. If people cannot find settlements, let them find a way to settle themselves out of court. Not everything should be brought to court, and then it seems like, I read the reports in 2020 or so of how much, went under the bridge as regards bribery in the judicial system. That's a complete ridicule of the judiciary. If the executive, the legislators, and even ordinary Nigerians feel that justice is for sale, then it makes a complete mockery of the system. It makes a complete mockery of the courts, a complete mockery of the judiciary. It makes a complete mockery of the years that you as a judge or justice or even a lawyer have invested in your career. If somebody who breaks the law feels that all it would take for him to scale through or beat the law or go free, walk scot-free is naira and kobo, then you've really wasted time building a career in that field. You've really wasted time being a judge or justice or even a lawyer. The judiciary in this country needs to redeem itself. Now, back to the basic call that I was making earlier. Nigerians, as the 10th Assembly is being inaugurated in June, take it upon yourself, civil society, media, everyone. Find a way to review the Electoral Act, review the Constitution, review whatever needs to be reviewed to ensure that. So if, for instance, now, finally the courts decide, the person that INEC declared as winner is no longer winner, would we also have an off-season presidential election? Because that's what it is. Many states now have, in November, states like Kogi and the rest and Imo would be going to the polls. Off-cycle elections. We saw Ekiti and Osun State some time ago, last year. What does that mean? Would we also have an off-season presidential election? Or would we just entirely reschedule our presidential election? Because the person, whoever it is, that if for any reason the courts decide, this person is no longer a winner, would have to swear somebody else in as governor, that person would also want to complete a 4-year tenure, because 8 months must have been used up by whoever it is that was sworn in initially. So we're just really messing things up for ourselves with this. The call should be now, let's focus on having election matters, election disputes all sorted out before inauguration. So whoever it is that's president, that's announced as president, or that is declared winner by the courts, would focus on governance, not being distracted by court cases here and there. Because as it is right now, the president-elect is sworn in. He's definitely going to be distracted. His team would be distracted by the court cases for at least 8 months. Time that should have been invested in governance would be used to pursue court cases. So Nigerians, wake up, rise up to the occasion. You have representatives, you have senators. Hold them to account and ensure that they do what's right. Revisit the Electoral Act, review it, and ensure that election matters are completed. Before now, it used to be election matters could be wrapped up at any time. It became sui generis. We can also go back, to say we want to amend it to whatever it is. The time frame for election matters must be concluded before inauguration. We can do it. If we could bring it to 8 months, we can also bring it to 2 months or even 1 month. Who knows? Stay with us on your radio experience. You can count on. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of the conversation today. I really appreciate you. Let's do this again tomorrow at the top of the hour 9. I'm going to be here again, fresh topic, and we're going to be dissecting it and discussing it as Nigerians as we continue to move this country forward. It's your responsibility, it's mine. We can't leave it to anyone else. Business News is up next. Right after that, it would be the midday crew taking over proceedings. My name is Ihia Nacho Prince. Keep it with us.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Eagles 102.3.